welcome to another episode of Spotlight on Stage. I'm Michelle Eagleton, the arts and culture correspondent at I Love Manchester, and this is where I am every Monday. We bring you the latest theatre news for our city. I have a good old natter with stars who are performing on stage and those behind the scenes, and I also give you the latest of what's on this week at theatres across Greater Manchester. So loads to get through. As I say in the theatre world, let's get on with the show because I've been joined by a cracking guest. He is the artistic director of a fabulous theatre company called Not to Tame. He's called Jimmy Fairhurst and he has been commissioned by Lowry as part of their 25th anniversary celebrations. And this is a great collaboration. It's called Gods of Salford. It is crossing Greek mythology with some Salford grit, and it's involving, more importantly, 25 young people from the area. They're getting the chance to take to the stage in this really exciting show. Jimmy's told me all about it and why it's so important for Not Too Tame to be involved in something like this, which makes theatre accessible for all.
We've always been about our audience. Like back in the day when we first started, we did like a band. We were doing pubs and clubs and gigs. So we were like the comics doing circuits. We had to win an audience over, and some of those nights you won and lost. And but we've it's always about the audience and we make work for. I did a Billy Elliot. I should have been playing. I was playing rugby league when I was 17, 18. But then I found this, and I make work for my mates who were sparks and rugby players and teachers and builders and roadies and. It is about them. So about the Gods of Salford. All right, it's Greek mythology, but it's absolutely set in Salford, and there's things that there's little parallels. So I when writing this, I went to pubs and cafes and bus stops in Salford and just sat and people watched and listened and asked people, got conversations. And Athena, this is what we do, Not to say we put everything through this prism of working class life and culture. And there's so Athena was born, one of the characters, the young girl playing Thea, who becomes Athena. So given resource and opportunity and space, anyone can become a god. That's what we're saying about young working class people. And Athena was born in full suit of armor, like she came out in a full suit of armor. And I was in a pub and overheard this old man say about his granddaughter, who's a boxer, a female boxer in Salford. He said, "Yeah, it's like she came out with a pair of boxing gloves on." And I just thought, that's it. It's that same thing. And so there are lots of parallels, and that happens all the way throughout. And it's the show is, it's got Greek mythology, but it's tailored to these young people's voices. And we've used some of their stories. We've actually I said, if that doesn't fit right in your mouth, like how would you say it? And so we've tailored it. And then there's 2 or 3 little monologues, which are just sort of those people's voices about the resilience of their difficulties, actually. This young group are really amazing, so much so that they've had me in tears about 3 or 4 times this week. And I always think that a good piece of theatre, it makes you laugh. If it makes you laugh, cry, and you're still thinking about it a week later, we've done a good job. And I'd bet my reputation on that this is going to do that.
It sounds great, and it sounds like it is going to be something really special, really powerful. And what I do love is you have got these 25 young people, from across the city that have got this incredible opportunity to work on the Lowry stage and with professionals like yourself and be treated like professionals. That's what you do.
This has been a bit of a healing process for me in lots of ways. Sometimes in the entertainment industry, it's hard work and it can take the edge off. But actually coming in with these guys, they have been able to actually put my beliefs and principles into practice and building a squad. Even though I'm not a big footballer, I'm obsessed with football managers, and so the likes of Alex Ferguson and I read a lot of. There's a lot of parallels between man management in sport and people managing it in sport and working with a company. Like, you'd never lose the dressing room, and these young people, I've treated them as professionals, and they've stepped up to the plate, and it's actually every one of them about support and instilling belief, but treating them like professionals. In the beginning, don't think I'm speaking out of church on this. In the beginning, a lot of these people, they're from one lad can't speak Sudanese. He doesn't speak English. He's come here for difficulties in life, and there's different backgrounds and people from sheltered accommodation and people from dance classes and like all sorts, real melting pot of stuff. But in the beginning, the process, there was boxes of fidget spinners, and people needed a lot of people often were taking breakout spaces, and which is great because we make sure that support's there. However, now they're dancing, doing routines, they're warming up, they're laughing about, they're just a family, and it's a really beautiful thing. And for me as a director, it's not even a director, it's just someone who's, I'm sending the elevator back down because people did that for me and like put me in rooms with the, I was like, what am I doing here? What am I doing getting on a plane to go to Australia acting? Like, oh, I shouldn't. And I was given these opportunities, and I'm trying to do that as much as possible and tell these people now, take the space. Like this is this, you know, if you set from a certain background, you often get told, shh, hey, don't make a fuss, don't make a. And I'm like, no, take the space to do your job properly. If you're a painter or a spark or a joiner, you'd need to take the space and have the tools to do your job properly. And it's the same as a performer on stage. It's just a little bit harder for some of these guys, but now they're fierce and they're robust, and it just shows you actually that kindness and candor and dedication to craft it pays off in the work, and these guys are doing it in their own voice, in stories about their own city. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. The other thing I should say is that the people around them, the creatives and also the professionals. So Laura Harrison has just come off the West End being Stand by Alphabet. That was mind blowing to a lot of these people, and but it's that she comes from Warrington, from a similar working class background, so it's quite nice to not only be in a room but to go having these people and Anthony Quinlan, who's they're so lovely with them. But they're also cultural architects going, like yesterday, were like, guys, yeah, great, but, you know, you need to just keeping them, they set the standards, but they're also really opening, you know, telling them about how to benefit from their experiences of failures and successes. And it's just that kindness and generosity sort of makes that, you know, this thing of success and being alphabet, it makes it attainable or achievable. Going, oh, well, if they can do it, maybe I can.
We are going to see a lot of passion in these performances at Gods of Salford. I've heard on the grapevine, though, it's a little bit like a game show. It's like Saturday night television. What can you give away about that and how you have mixed it up with the gods?
That's going to say. It's the stakes, isn't it? Things can be won and lost, and what those stakes are. And just to bring a bit of Saturday night to proceedings, there's a young lad who's playing opposite me who's it's just brilliant. It's just, I'm like, absolutely, like, it's when certain people bring a certain energy, like that's it. But yeah, there's I'm playing opposite a young lad, and we're very much sort of on deck maybe, but also there's lots of. There's something for everyone. Throughout this process, I've been making all my references, and I grew up watching the Les Dawsons, the Des O'Connors, this world, and loving that side. All of my references go, I'm like, so there's a bit of reference to that. But it's that thing as well, is that TV is a working class thing. It's, you know, if everyone go watches TV, I think they should go to theatre. But it's familiar, and it's family, and it's togetherness. That's what I love about the Saturday night game show. And there's a lot of that in there. It's fun.
Well, if you want to see Gods of Salford, and I'm sure you do, then head to Lowry. It's on tomorrow night, the 29th of April, and Wednesday, the 30th of April. If you want to book those all important tickets, you know where to head. Head over to our website, ilovemanchester.com/theatre. We've got loads more information on there as well. Now, let's take a look what else is on at theatres across Greater Manchester this week. Well, get ready for some hot night action over at the Opera House, because the world premiere of A Knight's Tale, the musical, has taken to the stage. It's really wowing audiences, and it is based on the iconic film of 2001 starring Heath Ledger. It is a comedy musical. It is charged in, see what I did there, prior to performing at the West End, and it really does have it all. As I say, you've got comedy, you've got adventure, and you've got a really rocking soundtrack. It's packed with chart topping hits from Queen, Destiny's Child, Bonnie Tyler, and David Bowie. Now, there's not long to catch this one. It is only here until the 10th of May. So if you want something new and thrilling, get yourself down to the Opera House. Now, over at the Palace Theatre, we have got a classic musical we have loved for so long. It's Mary Poppins. She flew into Manchester a couple of weeks ago as part of her UK and Ireland tour, and she's practically perfect in every way. It is a real favourite for families, this one. The nanny arriving on Cherry Tree Lane is more magical than ever. We've got dazzling choreography in this, incredible effects, and some unforgettable songs like Step in Time, Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, and of course, Feed the Birds. If you want to catch Mary Poppins, then do head down to the Palace Theatre. She is still here until the 17th of May. Elsewhere, Vignettes returns to Hope Mill Theatre for yet another year of short productions. Yes, you get a lot of different plays in one night, and this time the theme is Letters to the NHS. There's a talented cohort of local female writers and actors, each exploring their own letter. If you want to catch them in action, then all you need to do is head to Hope Mill from the 30th of April to the 4th of May. Staying with drama over at the Royal Exchange, Abigail's Party remains in town, and this has transferred the action from Essex to Manchester. Yes, Mike Lee's tragic comic masterpiece has garnered cult status across the decades. It's set in the height of 70s suburbia where social class and ambition are at their height. And Beverly Moss, the hostess with the mostess, is inviting you to her cocktail party. You've got Kim Marsh as Beverly Moss here and Graham Hawley as Lawrence. It is sparkling fantastic with a bit of mank thrown in there for good measure. If you want to catch it, then it is at the Royal Exchange, extended until the 24th of May. Now, if you fancy a laugh this week, it's got it in the bucket loads at the Octagon with the 39 Steps. It is based on the novel by John Buchan and the movie by Alfred Hitchcock, but it's brilliantly bonkers and hilarious, this adaptation. In fact, you have got four talented actors playing over 150 characters. It doesn't get more frantic than that. You go from the bustling streets of London to the remote Scottish Highlands. It is the iconic spy thriller seen like never before, and if you want to watch that in all its glory, it's running until the 10th of May. And finally, over at Lowry, we mentioned before Gods of Salford. Well, in the lyric, you have Death of a Salesman, the Arthur Miller classic. It's been hailed as one of the greatest plays of the 20th century. And this timeless, powerful story takes you on the journey through the final 24 hours of Willie Loman's life, filled with his memories, dreams, struggles, and his father's expectations against his own son's realities. It opens tomorrow night and runs until Saturday, the 3rd of May. I'm spoilt for choice. So many amazing productions this week. And if you want to find out more about them and book those all important tickets, just head to our website, ilovemanchester.com/theatre. And don't forget, you can always scroll back and take a look at our interviews on the I Love Manchester Theatre Facebook page. So if you haven't already, give us a follow, have a lovely scroll, and drop us a comment and tell us what you think. I'll be back here next Monday. Have a great week till then. Bye for now.